So you want to know how to get 1,000 sales on Etsy. Firstly, I want you to take the time out to congratulate yourself. You are doing excellent selling on Etsy. You're doing better than most of the sellers. And if you're not, check out the playlist in the cards up above where I take you step by step from setting up your shop to getting up to this point. But if you're now on that home stretch to getting the 1,000 sales on Etsy, the first thing we want to do is just take a moment to enjoy the success we've got already. And a good way to do that, get yourself a free account on eRank and check out where you're ranking in the world, how great your shop is doing compared to all other shops. You don't want to be depressing yourself by comparing yourself to everyone all the time, but sometimes it's nice to just step back and see how awesome you're doing, and you are doing great. Right, so what's the difference getting to 1,000 sales, and why are we having a difference? Why can't what's working to get your first sale work to get your 1,000th sale? Well, to an extent it can, but your shop is doing great now. You have more authority, you have more understanding of how to rank for things, so we can take things up to the next level. And the kind of steps you want to think of is things to diversify, things to make yourself be an expert in your field, and new horizons you can step into. So let's dive into them. So firstly, to diversify, some of the things you could be thinking about doing is kits and supplies. You really know your craft and you probably have a whole lot of stock lined up or some really good suppliers. Could you move into making kits? Etsy itself is a great place for selling to crafty people, not just for people wanting to buy finished products, but it's also where people go to learn a new skill, to learn a new craft, or to get supplies. So if you've got some ideas for kits and supplies, it can be a great place to sell them. And now could really be the time to open that second shop. If you've got things that don't quite fit into the remit of your first shop, or if there was things that you wanted to try but they just weren't in your first shop, they just weren't the niche, the focus that you wanted, now might be the time when you have a better understanding of everything and you hopefully have a little more time because you've got everything a little more automated. It might be a good idea to think about making that second shop. It's also really important to be thinking about trends, and on Etsy trends are happening months ahead of the time that they happen. You want to be thinking of Christmas 2, 3, 4 months before Christmas. So look at what the trends are. Search on tools like eRank and Google Analytics and see what words are trending and what words are seasonal throughout the year, what search terms or items people might be looking for in the very close future, and also what things are coming up. If you'd caught onto the back of the slime trend or the fidget spinner trend, yes, they're short-lived, but if you can capitalise them because you're a big shop with a lot of authority, you could roll in some pretty serious coin for the time that the trend is happening. So if you see something just about to take off, jump on it. And also affiliate links. This is another place you might find that people are coming to you quite often and asking you where you get your goods and supplies from. And I know quite a lot of people get offended by that, but you can actually bank on that. You can make some money from that. Certain places like Amazon have affiliate programs where that means if you direct someone with your link to someone else's product, you can get a share of the money when they sell it. And this totally makes sense. If people come to know and trust you and you're sharing with them items that you love, you're sharing shops and suppliers that you really want to support and you get a wee bit of money for it, then it's a win-win for everyone. Definitely don't just use this as a cash cow. Don't recommend things that you don't believe in, but this can really help support the suppliers that you love. So it's really worth considering getting into affiliate links. And the steps to broaden into being an expert. I know this does sound a little bit, I know this might sound a little bit big-headed, but you are. You're coming up for 1,000 sales on whatever it is that you make. So you could look into online tutorials, for example, running a blog or a website, showing people your skills, teaching people how to make what you make. And don't think of this as creating more competition. It's a big old world out there, and over time more and more people are going to come into creating what you make. but you were there before them. You're the bit more of an expert, and they were going to learn and they were going to make it anyway. So you being the expert that people come to for advice, you'll also be the expert that people come to buy from. And what about going onto other people's blogs to offer advice? What about interviews or videos? All these things make you the expert in your field, and it's also a bit of a fun, different thing to do and different way to bring in money eventually. And opening up into new horizons. Now you're getting kind of big. You don't necessarily want to be on Etsy forever, or you don't want Etsy to be your only source. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. So this is a good time to start branching out to new horizons. One thing you could consider doing is capturing people's emails into a mailing list. Now, this is super important. You don't just want to say, give me your email and I will spam you with random things every now and again. You want to add value to them. So, do you want to join my mailing list to get coupons off, discounts, sneak peeks at events before anyone else, to keep in touch with what I'm doing next? Make your mailing list interesting. Not only does it have to sound interesting that you're adding value for people to sign up, but also you want each of your emails, each of your mail outs to be interesting to people, so that they don't just stick you in the spam box or unsubscribe, that they enjoy reading your emails, so you don't spam too often and you make sure what you're sending is value. And perhaps now is the time to start building your own website, setting up so that you're selling for yourself. You've still got Etsy as your backup, of course, but once you're getting a bit bigger, sometimes you don't need Etsy. If you're driving your own traffic, let's aim for your own website too. Or how about a bricks and mortar store? Not opening one yourself necessarily, but getting in, going speaking to galleries or gift shops or places where your items might look good to be sold. Give it a try, go in, ask the people if they would be interested in selling your items. They might well surprise you. And if you don't ask them, the answer is no already. So give it a go, you've got nothing to lose by asking. And also with all these other new things, we can be thinking bigger with our SEO in our shop. You can aim for higher competition keywords now. As you have a bit more authority, you have more understanding of how to rank for things. Let's aim for those higher competition keywords, because the higher competition ones also have higher activity, higher views, higher sales. So they are worth the gamble. And also we can start to think of moving towards ranking on Google. Have you noticed now when you search for certain things on Google for certain terms, these keywords might have a carousel of pictures or videos that pop up, and what can happen sometimes is Etsy shops can appear on that carousel right at the top, very visible in the Google search. And this is because Etsy actually pays for a small amount of Google adverts for us, and Google places some of these adverts onto this carousel. Google features these a little bit, not just in the shopping section, but it also puts it in this carousel along with other things. So if you target some highly competitive keywords that show up good on Google, that show up in this carousel, then there's a chance of you driving a fair amount of traffic from Google. Now, over the coming weeks and months, we're going to be focusing in on things like building mailing lists and also how to improve our ranking on Google. So don't forget, subscribe to this channel and come back every week for more tips and advice. And if you've got any questions or things you want me to focus on, don't forget, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me, and amazing getting those 1,000 sales on Etsy. Thank you so much.